We've been asked to find the exact value of the cosine of pi over 6 plus 2 pi over 3. Okay, well, I know that I'm going to go to my formula sheet, and I know that I am going to use the formula cosine of a plus b. Okay, and I'm going to pull that directly off my formula sheet. I don't have to memorize that. And that gives me cosine of a times the cosine of b minus the sine, my minus sign didn't take there, of a times the sine of b. Okay, so I also know that in order to use this formula, I need to know cosine and sine. So I'm going to go back over here to pi over 6, and I'm going to convert that into degrees so I know where that lives on the unit circle. So I'm going to multiply that by 180 over pi, and that gives me 30 degrees. Okay, if I use my hand trick, I know that pi over 6 is going to give me root 3 over 2 and 1/2. And because that lives in quadrant 1, I know that everything is positive. Now it's time for me to convert 2 pi over 3. So again, I'm going to multiply that by 180 over pi. All right, and that's going to give me 120 degrees. Okay, so I know that 2 pi over 3 is 120 degrees, and that's going to give me 1/2 and root 3 over 2. But I know that 120 degrees lives in the second quadrant, so I know that that means that in the second quadrant, I know that cosine is negative. Now that I have these things, I'm going to plug them into my formula. So I know that I've got the cosine of pi over 6 times the cosine of 2 pi over 3 minus the sine of pi over 6 times the sine of 2 pi over 3. Well, I know what those values are because I listed them above. So this is going to give me the cosine of pi over 6, that's going to be my x value. So root 3 over 2 times the cosine of 2 pi over 3, so that's times negative 1/2, minus the sine of pi over 6 is 1/2, times the sine of 2 pi over 3, and that's going to be root 3 over 2. Okay, so now I just need to do some simplification. So I know that I'm going to have negative root 3 over 4 minus root 3 over 4, which is going to add together to give me negative 2 root 3 over 4. And I know that I have to simplify that to negative root 3 because this is 2 times 1 and this is 2 times 2. So I can basically divide each piece with 2. So my final answer ends up being negative root 3.